Was this the worst quarter one in UFC history? I think so. Let's start off with the most recent event. Actually, to start this video, let's run through the events that we've actually seen this year. The first event of 2025. Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas 2. The main event? Are we serious? This doesn't deserve prelims on a pay-per-view. This is an early prelim-worthy fight on a pay-per-view, but I guarantee you they'd put it on the main card because the UFC has completely lowered their standards, despite the fucking billions that they got coming in. Alright? Millions. Alright, but they hold billions. We know this. UFC Q1 of 2025 has been an absolute failure. I'm mainly going to talk about the pullouts and the lack of stars that we've seen on the cards that actually deserve it. But this being the first fight night of the year is an absolute disgrace. We knew this. If I had a channel at this time, I would have posted about it. Don't worry. Cards are starting to get a little bit better, but now I've heard that UFC Qatar is canceled, and guess where we're going? The Apex! I made a tweet a couple weeks ago. This was supposed to be the a first time in a while. We would have had 4 crowded events in a row. We were going to have a Kansas City card. We were going to have the Montreal card the week. So it was going to be Kansas City, then it was going to be the Des Moines card in Iowa, then it was going to be the Montreal card in Canada, then it was going to be the Qatar card. But now, the Qatar card has been canceled, according to Big Marcel, and if you're a true MMA fan, you know that guy is on Insta. The best source in the game. And the Qatar card's now canceled, and we're going to the Apex, boys. Curtis Blades and Kuniev got pushed onto that card. And then I forgot there was one other decent fight that was supposed to be on that card. I'm not going to cover this in the video except just for this little segment here. You guys see the Des Moines, Iowa card? Cheeto versus Bautista was supposed to be on the Mexico card. Then it got pushed on to the Des Moines card. And it still wasn't on the UFC's post. So I don't know what's going on with that fight, if that's happening or not. A lot of people are asking that question. I hope it is. But even without it, I think the card is already great. Main event of Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo, 5 rounds. I'm going to pick Corey Sandhagen just because Davison is getting older, and I think this last win streak was his last chance. I don't think he can climb his way back to the top. He'd have to get at least 2 more wins, a win over Sandhagen and then win it over, Umar or something to that degree. But I have Sandhagen in that fight. He's also younger. Figgy's what, 36, 37 now. I don't like that, especially at bantamweight. And he's already a small bantamweight. He's good size for the division. He made the right move moving up. But I honestly would have liked to see him move down and fight Pantoja, but, I get it. And then the co-main event, Reinier de Ridder versus Bo Nickel. Finally, Bo Nickel isn't on the main card of a pay-per-view because he doesn't deserve it. Getting his first true ranked opponent on the co-main event of a fight night. It's a great decision by the UFC. De Ridder is a really hard matchup for him, though. A lot of people are picking Reinier de Ridder. I don't hate that pick. I'm going to wait on that fight to pick a winner yet. And then Jeremy Stephens is back. He's back. No one expected this. But it's fucking awesome. I'm excited to see him fight. I mean, I watched his fight with Eddie Alvarez where he fucking broke his jaw in whatever it was, the second round in the BKFC. And I think the only fight for him in the BKFC is Conor McGregor. But McGregor's not going to fight in the BKFC unless him and the UFC have a buyout or something, which they won't. Or they come to an agreement, which they won't. And I think if they're doing this, I would not be shocked if, hey guys, say Jeremy Stephens gets a win, gets a big KO win in the first round. Who do you think they might give him? Conor? I wouldn't be shocked. It'd be a big fight. It'd be a huge fight. I'm excited to see him. He's coming back at lightweight. I'm excited for him. It's going to be a great fight. Anyway, let's get back to the point of the video. All right. So in the second card of the year, UFC 311. We all know what happened on this card. This was one of the most stacked cards we had seen in a long time. And it was still a good card. But Arman Tsarukyan pulls out on a day's notice. Dana White, he was so angry at Arman Tsarukyan. But first, before we get to that, we're going to watch this 313 press conference. Alright, guys? This is after the Ankalaev fight. If you guys watch my recent videos, you know that I have nothing but good things to say about Magomed Ankalaev. Okay? So let's just watch. Let's watch what the UFC promoter of Magomed Ankalaev has to say about their fight. Let's move ahead a little bit here. After he can't find the performance bonuses because he's just so mad. Let's get here.
Ruffy.
Oh, God.
That 150 grand.
A tactical battle, we'll say, in the main event.
Yeah.
Crowned a new champion tonight, though. I guess, can you give us your initial thoughts on the main event tonight?
Yeah. It was.
It was. What was it, Dana? What was it, Dana? Look at his. Bro, he is so mad. Look at his face. Alright, Dana, I want to hear what your thoughts on Magomed Ankalaev becoming a new champion, getting 44 million views on his social media post. Had a huge win. What do you have to say about your new big star?
Yeah. It was.
This is why I don't like fucking Ankalaev, bro. And any of these dick riders, bro. God. Even the promoter doesn't like them. He's supposed to promote the fight. He doesn't even do this anymore. And he is just absolutely seething. Let's see what else he has to say. I cut him off, but, Dana, what... So, Dana, what are your thoughts on, the main event and stuff? Yeah, God, he's ugly. Oh, man, his nose is fucking huge. God, it sucked, didn't it? God, that guy's terrible to watch, isn't he? That's what I'm expecting him to say at this point. Let's continue. If it wants to load.
Yeah, not what I expected. Expected a lot more shooting. Expected a lot more exchanges.
Fucking ad, bro. Whatever.
You found a place.
We all know what Dana White thinks of Magomed Ankalaev and the fight. Absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
He expected more. He expected more shooting, more shots. And then he goes, God. 6:30. Let's skip ahead here. He's got something else to say about this absolute war that we saw last Saturday.
All this stuff when he could be, maybe training at home. Do you feel like that maybe affected his performance and he looked flat tonight? Or do you actually give it to Ankalaev for just putting the pressure on him and making him look flat?
It's a good question. I think that's a question definitely for him to answer. I definitely don't know his schedule. I know he's been bouncing around, but do you see this everywhere? When somebody becomes a big star and they start making lots of money, there are lots of different doors that open and opportunities. But there's no doubt everybody knew that Ankalaev was going to be a tough fight for him. Everybody knew that this was going to be
Look at his little, he's got that little smug smirk because he knows that the reason everyone knew Ankalaev was a tough fight because Ankalaev's the only dude who's going to grapple with Pereira. He's the only dude who's going to brutally beat him up with the cage, all right? I love grapplers. I've made this point. He's not an Islam. He's not a Charles. He's not a Pantoja. He's not a Dricus. He is not one of those guys. To all your fucking Dagestani fans, bro, This isn't a war. This isn't chasing submissions. This isn't effective offensive grappling. This is fucking stalling out a fight. Anyway, I've already had this entire rant. Let's hear a little bit more on Dana White's thought of the fight.
Probably the biggest challenge of his career. And yeah, I wouldn't take anything away from Ankalaev and the pressure that he put on Alex tonight, and
The pressure, guys.
you know, kept pushing forward.
Kept
Even in
pushing.
the fifth round, I was listening on the headphones. You know, Alex's corner.
Can we hear a shot, maybe? He was landing that left hand all night. Man, he was really attacking the legs. God, Ankalaev was dominating with his grappling. Nope. Can we hear some of that, Dana? God, Ankalaev was really fucking, you know, stepping into boxing range and not throwing. You know, guys? He's got nothing to say. This is why the UFC is failing. This fucking billion-dollar company, these billions of dollars. This is why it's failing, guys. We have these guys running the sport, and this is the reaction that we get from the president.
Was saying you got to go after him this round. You have to let everything go. You got to let your hands go. You got to try to take him out.
There's a lot of talk.
Let's take nothing away from Ankalaev, all right? Pereira wasn't being effective as he should have been, but look at Dana's face. Look at the anger. He is seething. This dude, he looks like he's about to throw the microphone, all right? How do you feel about your new light heavyweight champion? Man, he pushes forward. You know, he was putting pressure. Yeah, that was kind of it. God, he's fucking got a giant fucking nose, doesn't he? Anyway. It just seems that Dana's so excited about the new opportunities with Magomed as champion. Moving on. Let's talk about this one. Dana White, UFC 311. We all know what happened on this card again. Very good card. Arman Tsarukyan pulls out. Let's listen to what Dana White has to say about Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Fair enough. Arman,
Are you happy? Is everybody happy now?
Yeah, I got
Ah, yeah, exactly. Oh, here comes swiping the nose, you know. I wonder why, Dana. Why's your face all red? Why do you keep going this, Dana? What's up?
Yeah, he finally got you. Arman Tsarukyan, what do you do with him at this point? I mean, do you automatically rebook him in the next title fight? Do you go back to the drawing board?
No. Yeah, he's going back to the drawing board.
He is absolutely just... I don't even know the word I'm looking for right now. Look at his face. Obviously, there's some coke in his body. But, guys, Arman Tsarukyan ruined this event. Let's not lie to ourselves. This event was fun, and it was a good card, and the Merab and Umar fight and the Jamal Hill and Yuri fight was really what gave us our money's worth. I mean, I didn't pay for it. Shh. But, you know, Arman definitely missed weight. He did not injure his back. If he did injure his back, it was doing it with Nina. So, either way, Arman, you're fucked. In terms of reliability and how much the UFC can trust you now. But Moicano stepping in and trying to save the day, but Makhachev dominated in the main event, and it was very forgettable is the word. And UFC 312. You guys want to talk about UFC 312? Remember that? Remember how good the main card was? You had the Drika Sean rematch. You had Zhang Wei Li finally getting to fight again. All my homies love Zhang Wei Li. And she dominated in a fight with Tatiana. Took her O. Man, that was such a sick card, right? I'm trying to remember what else happened. Justin Taffa got knocked out in 30 seconds or whatever it was. Anshan Jubilee. me and Khabib, nothing different. All right. That card, my point, the card was fucking dog shit. All right, UFC 312. That was an absolute failure of a card in terms of importance, the name value. I mean, you could not get a single Australian ranked fighter on that card. You couldn't get Dan Hooker. You couldn't even get, couldn't get Dan Hooker. Couldn't get Kai Kara France versus Manel Cap. You couldn't get any fight that would have been at least somewhat interesting to UFC fans. But you're booking all these guys a month later? What are we doing? And then you want to keep talking about matchmaking. It's only getting worse. This isn't just the worst Q1. We might end up with the first half a year in UFC history. The worst. Have you seen the matchmaking? Let's talk about the Seattle card. I don't even have anything up for this. I just want to talk about the Seattle card. The matchmaking was pathetic. Who the fuck put Song Yudong and Henry Cejudo and then Rob Font versus Dominic Cruz? Who was dying to see Rob Font Dominic Cruz? Who? You couldn't have given us Dominic Cruz versus Jose Aldo? That could have been the main event, Dana. You can put Cejudo as the co-main, or do one way or the other. But if you gave us Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz, the name value, that's a main event worthy. You put Henry Cejudo, even against Song Yadong again, or you put Henry Cejudo versus fucking Rob Font. If you gave us an actual, an interesting matchup for Dominic Cruz rather than we just need to see Rob Font versus Dominic Cruz, guys. You couldn't have given us a better matchup? You couldn't have? No way? But then you book Jose Aldo against Amy and Zahabi? Is that what we needed? We needed that guy? Whoever the fuck he is, we all, if you're not casual, you know who Amy and Zahabi is. He's very good. But to the casual fan, who the fuck is Amy and Zahabi? Compared to Jose Aldo. In Canada. You're making Jose fight on road turf. On the Montreal card. The fuck is this? What is this promotion? What are we doing? We are truly in the worst stage of UFC. I had so much more fun watching this sport a couple years ago. 3 years ago. 4 years ago. Even COVID was so much fun. Now that we think about it, in moments, obviously we still want the crowd, but man, what the UFC needs to do, my solution, because I'm such an expert, guys. Book one Apex fight night every 2 months. Don't do 1 or 2 every month. If you give us one Apex fight night every 2 months, because obviously there's certain instances where it's fun. The smaller octagon, you can't hear anything. What the UFC needs to do is they need to focus on making those fights in the Apex the absolute fights that are going to be bangers. The fights that are going to have the hard-hitting, the hard-hitting guys who like to go to war, who don't necessarily need a crowd. Like the Josh Emmett, Lerone Murphy fight, I think that's a great fight for the Apex. I do think Josh Emmett should be fighting in front of a crowd. But also, I like that fight in the Apex because of the octagon space, the less octagon space. And that fight's, I can already fucking imagine. That fight's going to be crazy. That's April 5th, guys. Tune into that Apex Fight Night. I just did more promotion than Dana White's done this entire year, it feels like. But, there's certain instances where it's right? But then we get cards like this once it loads. You guys ready to watch this weekend's card? You guys ready? Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze 2. And then the co-main event. Kurt Hollabaugh on the feature fight. No one? No one? I like them on Blackshear. Cody Gibson, guys, on the main card. Oh, and then these two debutees. They're both very good, by the way. Nurgoze. Gotta be careful about that one. And then Kevin Vallejos. Vallejos is this guy. Alright? This guy's gonna fucking sleep Sungwoo Choi, and it's going to be absolutely brutal in the first round. But Nurgoze is also very, very good. I like him against Brenson Ribeiro. And then finally we get the Ryan Spann heavyweight debut. This is what we've been waiting for. This is actually a very good move for him. But the card's fucking terrible. I mean, this is genuinely a pathetic card. I mean, Jesus Christ, Sam Hughes is the 4th fight on the card. What are we doing? You guys watching it this weekend? You guys gonna watch Sam Hughes versus Stephanie Luciano? You watching it? You guys watching these first 2 fights? Huh? Eunice Dubin. She's the lady who had the underdog finish on the Contender Series, so I will want to tune into that. But I swear to God, I'm not going to I'm literally going to turn off my television for that second fight. I mean, I'm about to do a predictions video. And I'm already going to shit on this fight more, but I've got more for this shit. This fight's pathetic. What are we doing? Who's tuning in this weekend? This is what we do not need. We do not need these 14-fight Apex Fight Nights with jack shit on it. Nothing happens. We have a couple debutees on the main card, and then Vettori Dolidze. What else happens? What is some big storyline that we're going to get from the card this weekend? It's just sad. This is what we do not need. This is why one Apex Fight Night every 2 months would solve the issue of the fan base being, oh God, another Apex Fight Night, right, guys? If we see it every 2 months, 6 a year, even 7, 8, 6 a year, people will finally be like, Apex Fight Night. Oh man, Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy? This is going to be fucking awesome. But no. No. We get these almost twice a month. I don't know if we're ever going to go back to fully crowded fight nights. I just don't. I really don't. I don't know if I ever see a scenario where this happens. It's sad. It's embarrassing. It's showing the UFC deteriorating. They're just lucky that no one else knows how to run an MMA business besides Dana White, because they fucking rob some fighters and they don't even promote anymore. Just so fucking weird. I'm not ready to record a predictions video on this shit, but whatever. I'm going to have to power through it, guys. And we're all going to have to power through this card together. Okay? At least next week we get Leon versus Sean Brady. God, that's going to be such a boring fight. Fuck. It's like, it'll be a fun fight, obviously, because, it's, number 1, number 5, and, big welterweight fight, especially in terms of title implications. But, I mean, the winner we know isn't going to get the next title shot. Yeah, it's in London. That's the only thing I'm excited for. I'm just excited that we're going to see a London crowd. That's literally the only thing I'm excited for. And then the Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg fight. Now, that'll be fun. And then we've got some other good fights. Nathaniel Woods on that card, and he's always great. We have guys on that card. So I'm excited. But, yeah. That'll be all. I'm done. The UFC, arguably the worst Q1 in UFC history. All the pullouts, all the O's that are lost. all the winning fighters that we don't want to win, the loss of stars. It's sad. It truly is. Alright, thank you all for watching. I'll be back sometime soon. Enjoy the fights this weekend.